What's up, everybody? A Spirit with a Gun here from Sleepless Nights with another episode on the Space Engineers Let's Build series. We're starting things off today back on our Shadowbound capital vessel build. In the last episode, we managed to get this kind of shape going here to kind of round off and try and blend together some of the different angle points where the ship kind of needs to meet up with itself, essentially. Now, we did run into a little bit of an issue, which is where this central angle is not only meeting up with the side angle, but starting to outrun it a little bit. So we're working on that a little bit today. It was brought up about like windows and things like that. I do have a plan. Again, I've showed off the 3D render that I did for the concept of this ship, and there will be a central actually, let me see. This isn't quite probably to scale, I imagine, in terms of how big I actually wanted it, but it'll do. But basically, there's going to be a kind of, not really a cockpit, more like a bridge area that's going to be a multi-floor right here. And then there's going to be a ring that goes around the back and meets up over here. And that's actually going to be glass all the way on the inside, and then there's going to be a glass window on the outside as well. I did show the renders in the second episode of this, or second part of this build, so there's that. But if you guys want me to refresh your memory or whatever, I can throw up an image screw it, we'll throw it up right about now. So that's kind of the build, and then you guys can pause this if you want to actually stare at it or anything like that. So we'll take that one down, and the next one is the back edge kind of thing, so you can kind of see both sides of the ship and kind of get an idea. So that's the overall concept. Now, if we come up with ideas as we go and decide to change things, I'm all for it. One of them that was a suggestion was also possibly doing a continued overhang past this edge. Not unlike that of a Star Destroyer, where you kind of come out and then just the angle part kind of comes out a little bit further and then kind of lines back up with itself. And I might actually do that. I want to get this top ridge all squared away first, and then we'll work on the side or the bottom, and then, but yeah, I might do the top and then the bottom, and then I'll probably work on trying to detail up the side a little bit. But that's a good idea that I really do like. That it might give it a little bit more detail, depth, all of the above, that kind of thing. So, one of the issues that I ran into is I kind of had this pattern that you can see here, which I'm not sure about. It was basically that we brought the ramps from the front of this edge out. We brought it out to the same as the last level, and then brought it out 2 more. But as you can see, I don't think, I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think this will continue to work after we hit a certain point. Let me go ahead and turn mirror mode back on. So if we bring this out there, and then we go 2 more, see, back here, it created this bevel. Like, you got this cool kind of curve shape going here, but when we get here, as this narrows, we're starting to run out of space here. So I don't know that this will work further. So with this, I might start. What I think I want to try. Let's experiment here a bit. What I think I want to try is to. I'm going to try and bring this back, right? And when we do that, the next row, I might actually start bringing it in if we need to. We're going to see. Let's see. So we need this here, like so. Every time you reload the game, the stuff resets, all of your directions and everything resets. Now this is interesting, because we've hit a bit of a snag, it would seem. Oh, there is a solution I could do for this. Right here, and then bring this out by 1. That could work. Let's try it. Let's leave it that way, because that doesn't look... as long as the shapes are kind of meeting up with each other, I'm not too picky. I'm not really too worried about, like, oh, that doesn't line up perfectly. It's more of a let the shapes do what they want to do, as long as they work, basically. So, it's a little different, because we have a little bit more of a zigzag, whereas this is a smoother edge. The other thing... Oh, hold up. I don't need to do it this way. I don't need to do that. The other thing I could do is to... maybe I do. As a matter of fact, I do. I was gonna say that I don't have to do that. I could put the slope back here, but then I realized I need to tie this in with the rest of this edge. Like so. Now, another problem area that I'm seeing that is going to pose a slight issue is going to essentially be that this shape is starting to change a little bit, but this isn't lining up. So we're going to have a bit of a problem there, though we'll probably handle it, I guess, about like we did it here, where we're just going to level it off at this level and then connect it up. Now, one thing that was brought to my attention that I did not know at all is that I may have to go in and fill underneath these ramps to make sure, let's see, that's the base. So if we were to remove this, that would be the tip. And I believe it was the tips that everybody said to make sure they're filled in, but I'll probably go back and cover up the bases as well, because apparently if you leave the tip uncovered on the bottom, like not like that, but you leave it open, apparently it won't be airtight. And I did not know that at all. I was not aware of that. So yeah, there's that. So this is going to be where we see an issue. But like I said, I think the only solution I can come up with is to just kind of keep going. Like we did up here. I think that'll work. I'm really not sure. I'm kind of winging it. But yeah. So if we do this... Oh. But then it's not tapering in any further. That's an interesting predicament. Let's just keep it going and see if it fixes itself, because I'm not too sure about that. That's not looking too promising. Unless I'm not seeing it right, which is entirely possible. So if we do this, and we get all this squared away... Now, where's this come out at? We need to bring this forward. Let's do it to about there, and see what we come up with. Alright. So, what I think we're going to have to do is kind of the same thing. We'll have to do this here. Oh, that does kind of bring it in more. Okay. It's going to essentially... Well, no, actually, it didn't. The ramp is the same length that way. Interesting. It's connecting and they're lining up, so I kind of want to see where it ends up. But... I don't know. Oh, stupid lighting thing. I don't know if that's going to work. Or not, if it's going to keep cutting off at the same edge. Now, one way we could fix this, if we're going to have to cut this off here anyway, and do it like this, if we're going to have to do it like that anyway, we could taper this back in. Like so. Because if we're going to have to cut that edge off anyway, then we can Oh, maybe not. Maybe that won't work. Oh, unless, could I do... Huh. We might want to try a ramp like this, and then... I am totally winging it here, by the way. No, that's not going to work. It's not really bringing the shape right. If we do it this way? Oh, I already did that. Okay. Well, I guess we'll just have to keep going and see if this shape continues, because it looks like it's going to. That's my only problem with this, is this should continue to taper in towards the nose, and it kind of seems at the moment like every time we're going to come up to an edge, it's just going to keep lining up that way. I don't know. Let me play around with it. I'm gonna keep going with this for a minute and see what I come up with. Okay, so I decided to try and work backwards a little bit and go from the nose and see what I could come up with. And so far, this is kind of the shape that I'm getting, but I'm running into a couple of different issues. One, these don't line up, which is a problem. Two, this is a problem. That I cannot, for the life of me, get this to taper any further over. And so then when I got here, I reached a little bit of an overlap where the downward angled shapes here that we've been using that have kind of been even the whole time have run their course. So I don't know that I can keep this shape permanently. So I started working back this way, hoping I could come up with a pattern. And I'm realizing that I might end up needing to continue this pattern or find a way to merge it together. Now, obviously, there's the simple way of doing things like you could do like this, and then like this. I might have to keep it. I don't like it. Because I can't really find any other way that works, but I'm not a fan. So what I'm going to try and do is see if I can figure out a way to do this from the nose. Okay, so if I'm coming from back here, we're going to fill in like this, right? So then we'll need to do one of these here, and then we could do like this, I suppose, and then like this. So then down here, what we'll need to do, yeah, that works, and then maybe do an outer edge like that. That could work, I guess. It's a little more jagged than I wanted, but it might actually work. Now, the big question is, can I keep this pattern moving in a way that'll work for the rest of the ship? Or am I going to have to change it for every row or something like that? Now, this does appear to work here as well. The biggest thing that I'm not happy about is I wanted it to taper a bit more both on the top and the side. Well, maybe not so much on the side, but the top I wanted it to be a little bit more narrow, and it's kind of like running square all the way out to the edge of the other one. So, I'm not sure exactly how I feel about that one. But, and you guys know me, I really don't like leaving these edges hanging out there. But if we decide to do like this, like do that extra little edge trim, that may end up benefiting us, because we could do something like this, and that could actually work. For now, I'm not going to do it, but I might keep that in mind, because that may actually work. Now, once again, I got it backwards. Now, once again, we're going to... It seems to be holding the same kind of pattern. I really didn't think it would, because from a glance, a lot of this looks like it doesn't line up the same way, but it actually might. This might actually work. So... ah, crap. I hate it when it grabs the wrong block. Alright, so there to there. And then we'll throw an edge here and then just fill that in. And like I said, I might end up carrying this shape all the way up to the edge here. Which is honestly kind of what I did here. I just didn't use one of these 2x1 blocks. But I could have, actually. I could have put one there. Oh, no, I couldn't have. No, that wouldn't work. This might have to stay. That might have to be the way it works. Let's find out. Alright, I'm not sure if we've really done it or not, or if we're going to keep it all this way, but I think we got it? I really don't know. It's really hard to tell, because there's like 4 different angles that are trying to line up together, and it's really difficult to actually get it to work in the proper way. But I'm wondering if maybe if I changed up this, or I mean these up here, to more of this style where it runs right to the edge, I wonder if it'll turn out different? I'm not sure, because as you can see here, these are running straight against these 2x1 inverted corners, but when you get up here, I have it as a straight, or as a regular corner block. So I'm wondering if I change this shape, would the ship look better? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, because I don't want to undo all that work if I don't have to, or if I decide I don't like it. But I think overall this shape is a bit smoother, I guess, than this one. So we'll have to see. But again, the side is a little different as well. This is, over here, is a bit more uniform, I guess. I don't know. Probably should have started with the nose from the beginning, because I think that looks a little bit better. So what we're going to do, let's experiment here. So if I were to match this style like this, then there would be a corner here, and we do an inverted there, which would mean that goes there, and this becomes a straight block. That may have been the missing piece of the puzzle that I've been looking for, so let me go ahead and duplicate that on this newer set here and see if that looks a little better. We'll do a comparison. Alright, so I did a little bit of a hybrid type shape going on here. Let me see if I can adjust the light a little bit more. Probably should turn off the sun rotation on this build entirely, but it's been a little nice that I can control the lighting if I need to look at the other side, so it's whatever. I realized I don't think I can do what I intended to do, which is, I know I'm speaking like at one word per second. So what happened here was this all worked because it was 1 row high. If you'll notice, this is all 1 row, this is 1 row, so it worked. When you get up here though, we had enough of a discrepancy from this edge to that height that we had to go up more. It wasn't just one height. So that was what became a problem, because if you'll notice, all of these line up to the inverted corner in front of them. However, they only have to go 1 corner down to connect to the last inverted corner over here. So the issue is when you get up here to 2 and 3 layers, you have to bring it all the way out to the last edge in order for this shape to continue and match up the way that we were seeing it match up. Also is another issue would be that, well, no, I guess it would hold this pattern because there's only ever 3 blocks in between them, so you could do it that way, but you would have to bring these ramp edges all the way out to the last edge. You couldn't have this bevel kind of thing. It would be more of a rounded edge all the way around, and then you'd have to kind of stagger it in on the inner ring. I didn't think about that. I wonder if that would work better. Now that I think about it, I might make another copy and try that, because essentially what I'm talking about is you'd end up doing this. You would have one row along the edge, and then it would kind of curve into the front. I don't know if I could pull that off or not. I don't think it would work. I don't think it would work. But I might end up making a copy and trying it anyway, just to make sure. So I might play around with that in a minute. Just make a backup over there. But I think overall this is gonna work. Let's take a peek at this one so we're not blocking the light. I think it'll work. That, like I said, the problem is that you've got this central ridge, then you've got this curve, and then you've got the side shape, and they all have to blend together at some point, which is kind of the problem. Now, what I was talking about, since I have a backup copy over here, I'll just show you. So if we bring this out, right, what I started noticing was when I was just bringing it out to this one, right in front of it, they all ended up the same height, or same length. The ramps all ended up the same length. And I was like, well, that's not what I was going for. And it's when I realized that this shape, to hold it, actually has to go out further than what we're currently doing. You'd have to do something like this. So up here, you'd have to come out this far and go like that. And essentially, you'd hold this pattern where you just walk up until you get to the little curve the entire way up. Now, what I just thought about in trying to explain it to you guys is that might actually work with creating a more beveled shape, almost like this up here, how we have one outer ring, one inner ring, so on and so forth. The only difference being these ramps are going to be a little bit longer, where this one, the lower ramp is wider. At the moment, this is working the opposite, where the upper ramp is the wider one. So at a certain point, that wouldn't end up working. I don't think. Like I said, we might actually try it on this set over here, just to make sure it won't work, because it might actually work. I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm really, really bad with slopes. You'll notice this is probably taking me longer than any of the rest of the ship. Now, I don't know if I should try to kind of just merge all this into one, or not. And this was the other thing, is it raises the side height, which I didn't really want to do, but it actually might be more in line with my original concept. So, since we have this backup copy, let me just go ahead and do that, and we'll just see what it looks like. Okay. Whew, that was a lot of work. So, this is kind of the side-by-side comparison, and apparently, unless that's just a lighting glitch, we have a little bit of a block glitch going on here on this side, which is kind of weird, but whatever. That's kind of odd. We've got some weird connections going on. Especially when it works like the rest of the time entirely like it's supposed to, and then just these like 3 blocks were just not. It's very strange. Whatever. And I noticed the same thing kind of happened over here. We've got some, like, this one out of place block. Really weird. It's really, really odd. Whatever. At least they're both fixed now. I think they're fixed except for this up here. Dagnabbit. How does that keep happening? Alright, now they're both fixed. So, I have to admit that by comparison to the screenshot that I'll show again, just for comparison right about now. Okay, got it? Committed it to memory? Taking it down. Okay, so I have to admit, I think the one on the right is a bit more on par with my original design. However, I actually think I like the one on the left better. Now that I'm actually... The one on the right just looks too squared. And if you'll notice on that screenshot, if you go back and look at it, one of the things is that this is only the front half, or well, more probably closer front 3/4, but then in the screenshot, it then goes and tapers down a little bit on both edges and kind of comes out to a point here, and it also curves with the kind of hook shapes. So this isn't entirely finished, but I have to admit that I think I like the shape of the left side better. So I'll leave it up to you guys. Let me know what you guys think. I think this one is a bit more uniform in that it kind of holds the same taper line all the way up, which keeps it a bit more uniform looking. This is a bit more, there's a lot going on, a lot of different shapes going on, but I think it overall looks better in that you've got a little bit more of some different taper shapes and edges going on to get a little bit of a different kind of shape going on. So personally, if there are no objections, I think I'll be going with the left side despite the similarities to the original concept art on the right. However, that 3D render was a concept art. I mean, it was just a kind of ballpark. And now that I'm actually in here building, I think this shape looks a little bit better. It looks better. It's just, like, I'm not sure that it's going to be easier to build with, or, like, for example, this has a lot more room up here, kind of thing. And I don't know. Let me know what you guys think as far as there might be a way to kind of blend these two together. For example, if I took more of a beveled edge and kind of brought it a little further out and I kept doing those rings, maybe it would look a little better. I don't know. Personally, for me, the thing that does it is this back edge. I like this taper and how it kind of curves down and it kind of points up towards a central command area. This one is a bit more squared off, which, again, like I said, is a bit more on par with the original concept. But I think I overall like the look of this one better. So let me know what you guys think. I think I've about had it for today. I had to like practically rebuild this whole thing to get this one. I'm pretty much toast. So I think we're going to wrap things up for today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments though, and we'll pick one of these, whichever one is the overall popular vote. And then next episode, we'll probably try and use what we've learned to finish off this bottom shape. Now again, because we've kind of learned this already, I think what'll end up happening is more than likely I'll probably just end up starting right from this edge, and instead of trying to kind of blend, I'll probably just start right there, curve it, and just start bringing it in little at a time. Because the thing is, this line eventually ran out of space. Like, they met up about there before it reached the point. However, here, let me just, we're in the dark here, I realize yet again. There we go. So, on this one, it stops right about there and then has to taper down. This second take was, what if it just tapered all the way up, kind of thing, was the idea. But this one was always designed that way. Like, it'll just curve down, but it will never run out until it hits there. So we should be able to follow a shape like this, pretty much all the way down, I think. Or whatever bevel curve we come up with. I think we can hold, like if we go from that point to that point and kind of curve it, I think we can follow that pattern and zigzag it all the way down, and we should be fine. So I'm not as worried about the bottom. It shouldn't take as long because the bottom is just basically 3 points. It's this corner, that bottom edge, and then that point that they all kind of have to meet up. So essentially a big version of one of these 2x1 corners. One of these guys right here is what I'm going for. So it shouldn't be too difficult to do the bottom. This one had a couple of different shapes and a couple of different taper points and things, so it was kind of complicated. But anyways, like I said, let me know what you guys think in the comments. In the meantime, we're going to wrap things up here. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, and I will see you all next time. Peace.